Good morning everybody. Today we are going to see 9th chapter, Application of Biotechnology. In that we complete previous knowledge, application in medicine, recombinant human insulin, interferon and recombinant vaccines. Students, we know very well the structure of DNA protein synthesis. Central dogma of molecular biology that describes how the proteins are produced. Here we have three important processes. One is the DNA replication and another one is DNA transcription and translation. So by this process at the end we get the proteins. DNA are duplicated, that means they are increased the number, and next they are transcribed into RNAs, then they are translated into what type of protein to be produced. Then rDNA. The DNA produced by genetic engineering is referred to as recombinant DNA or rDNA, and this technique is known as recombinant DNA technology. So students, you know very well the DNA produced by genetic engineering is referred to as rDNA. DNA technology is the technique used in the recombinant technology. Here, what is the meaning of genetic engineering? The manipulation of DNA and extracting a gene from one organism and transferring it to DNA of another organism or of the same or another species is known as genetic engineering. In the picture, students, you can easily observe how the genes are manipulated. Say for example, the nucleotide is opened. So here the DNA is opened and nucleotides are removed and manipulated by some other nucleotides. Students, here we have given some important biomolecules. I hope you know very well the nucleic acid is made up of nucleotides and carbohydrates. They are made from the monosaccharides, and lipid by glycerol and fatty acids, and proteins, you know very well the amino acids. So these are some important biomolecules and their building blocks. Now we pass on to the first one. Now we can pass on to the biotechnology applications in medicine. Here we have four important applications: recombinant human insulin, human blood clotting factor 8, interferons, and recombinant vaccines. Now we see one by one. First one, recombinant human insulin. So in the picture you can easily understand the pancreas. So this is a pancreas. In that you can observe the important cells, that is a islets of Langerhans. So from the pancreas the small portion is enlarged, that is islets of Langerhans, and here we can find three important cells: alpha cells, delta cells and beta cells. So these cells produce hormones. What are the hormones produced by alpha cells? They secrete glucagon. Delta cell secrete somatostatin and beta cell secrete insulin. Now we see one by one. Now we can see the structure of insulin in detail. I hope you know very well insulin controls the blood glucose level. From the lower classes you have studied, insulin is very important for maintaining blood glucose level. When there is a deficiency of insulin, it leads to the disease called diabetes mellitus and the deficiency of ADH results in diabetes insipidus. So what is ADH? It is antidiuretic hormone. It is otherwise known as vasopressin. The insulin is made up of 51 amino acids in two polypeptide chains. One is A chain and another one is B chain. The A chain has 21 amino acids and B chain has 30 amino acids. Students, this may be asked for one more question. Totally, how many amino acids are there? 51. The 51 amino acids are present in two polypeptide chains. One is A and another one is B. In A chain we have 21 amino acids and in B chain we have 30 amino acids. And now, when there is a deficiency of the insulin, we need the insulin anyhow. In olden days, they have used the pancreas of pig and cows. See here, the pancreas is taken and the insulin is extracted and used for human being. When they compare this insulin with the human insulin, there is a minor difference. So when there is a difference, you know very well, definitely there will be a allergic reaction in the diabetic person. So that they started producing the human insulin, that is a Humulin. What is human insulin? By biotechnological approaches, they produced insulin. That's why we call it as a Humulin. H-U-M and U-L-N-I. That's why we call it as a Humulin. Now the history of the insulin. Best and Panding in the year 1921 isolated insulin from pancreatic islets of a dog. Then they started producing insulin by recombinant DNA technology that started in the year 1970s. Then we produced the pharmaceutical product of rDNA technology. After that, we got approval to use recombinant insulin in the year 1982. After that, we marketed the Humulin in the trade name. After that, it is marketed under the trade name Humulin in 1986. So from 1986, we got the Humulin from the medical shop. Now this is a very simplest human insulin production steps. Students, whatever it may be, two important things are required. One is your gene of interest, that is your desired gene or gene of interest, and another one is the vector. So here these two are taken. We have taken human pancreatic cell as the gene of interest because we want to produce insulin. So we have taken the insulin producing gene from the beta cells. After that, it should be cloned because we have to multiply the numbers of the desired DNA. So for that we need the vector. Here we use the plasmid. So what is plasmid? It is an extra chromosomal DNA present in the bacterium. Now it is cut open with the help of the restriction enzyme. So the restriction enzyme split the plasmid at a specific point. Now our desired gene is inserted into the plasmid with the help of recombinant DNA technology. After that, recombinant bacterium are allowed to multiply in the fermentation tank, so we can get more numbers of the insulin producing bacterium. Now we can observe the production of insulin. The human insulin will be produced, and you know very well there are two polypeptide chains are present, alpha and beta, and these are all extracted, purified and then marketed as human insulin. So students, it is a very simplified procedure. Whatever the product it may be, you need the gene of interest and a cloning vector. Then the enzymes, restriction enzyme and linkase. So these two enzymes also required to cut and join our desired gene. Now the second one is human blood clotting factor 8. The human blood clotting factor 8 gene is present in X chromosome. That's why we call it is a sex-linked inheritance. The disease caused by the deficiency of this one will lead to hemophilia. Say for example, what is hemophilia? When there is a cut, normally the bleeding starts. After that, there is a formation of platelet plaque. So it is a network structure made up of fibrin, and thereby it stops further bleeding. But in the case of hemophilia, the bleeding does not stop. So there is a continuous bleeding, and it leads to death of the person. Now how can we produce the blood clotting factor 8 by DNA application? So here this defect is due to the mutant of the gene present in the X chromosome. So in the picture you can easily observe how the human blood clotting factor 8 is produced by recombinant DNA technology. So here the replacement of mutant protein in genetic disorder, it is a very, very important defect. That's why the blood does not clot. And next, the recombinant factor 8 in the Chinese hamster ovary and in the baby hamster kidney cells. These are all used for the production of the blood clotting factor 8. It is a one more question sometime they may ask. Now interferon. So what is the meaning of interferon? The word itself gives the meaning interfere with the spread of the virus. So when the virus enter inside, what will happen? There is a production of antiviral substance that is called interferon. So in the picture you can easily observe, see here the viral particle when enter inside, immediately the interferons are produced. So the interferons are antiviral substance and they are protein in nature. Now after that they move on to the nearby healthy cells and they give the signal to protect itself. That is the main purpose of production of the interferon. Alec Isaac and Jean Lindemann in the year 1957 they discovered interferon. There are three types of interferons based on the structure, alpha, beta and gamma interferon. They stimulate cellular DNA to produce antiviral enzymes. The genes of human fibroblast. Here you can see the structure of the fibroblast is inserted into the bacterial plasmid. So in this case we use Saccharomyces cerevisiae because it is more suitable than Escherichia coli, because Escherichia coli does not possess the machinery for the glycosylation of protein. So students, sometimes they may ask two more questions. Why does we use Saccharomyces cerevisiae instead of Escherichia coli? Because Escherichia coli does not possess the machinery for glycosylation of protein. When we produce the interferon, these are all used for the treatment of various diseases like cancer, AIDS, multiple sclerosis, hepatitis C and herpes zoster. Recombinant vaccine. It is used to produce new generation vaccine. It is uniform in quality and produce less side effect. We have different types of recombinant vaccine based on the product we use. Subunit recombinant vaccine, attenuated recombinant vaccine and DNA vaccine. Now we see one by one in detail. The first one is subunit recombinant vaccine. It uses the component of pathogenic organisms rather than the whole organism. So here we are not going to use the bacteria as it is. We use only the component of the bacteria or the component of the pathogenic organism. The examples: proteins, peptides and DNA of pathogenic organism. Advantages: purity in preparation, stability and safe in use. And second one is attenuated recombinant vaccine. Here it is genetically recombinant organisms we are using, say for example the bacteria and or virus. It is used as a live vaccine and such vaccines are referred to as attenuated recombinant vaccine. It is mostly non-pathogenic. And third type is very, very important one, DNA vaccine. The DNA vaccine came into use in the year 1990. The immune response of the body is stimulated by DNA molecules. Then what are the advantages of DNA vaccine? Easy and inexpensive to design and produce DNA vaccine, producing target proteins, long-lasting immunity and trigger immune response only against specific pathogens with less toxic effect. A DNA vaccine consists of a gene encoding an antigenic protein inserted into a plasmid and incorporated into a cell in a target animal. Now we can see how the DNA vaccine functions. Now we see how it is functioning. The DNA instructs the cells to make antigenic molecules and evoke an antibody response to the free-floating antigens, and thereby the DNA vaccine cannot cause the disease. This is about production of recombinant hepatitis B vaccine. Here, the recombinant hepatitis B vaccine as a subunit vaccine is produced by cloning hepatitis B surface antigen gene in the yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So in this picture you can easily observe it is a gene of interest. What is that? The desired gene is hepatitis B antigen producing gene, and the remaining processes are same. And what is the meaning of HBsAg? Hepatitis B surface antigen gene. Thank you, children. We meet in the next class.